I don't think I've made it a secret that my favourite series of all time is Mob Psycho 100, so I suppose this video was going to come out eventually. Given this is my first video back since the anime officially ended, I figured this would be the best time to make this video. So today I will be talking about the power, durability, speed and abilities of Shigeo Kageyama, aka Mob. Now there are many different ways you can scale them, so I will provide high end and low ends for, each of his different forms or states, whilst also providing my own opinion. Of course, the calcs will be in the description as well, which I suggest that you go look at if you want more proof. And if you're going to enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe. Let's get on with how powerful is Shigeo Kageyama. Mob has 3 different stages of power due to the nature of his powers. He has his base state, 100% state, and 3% state, which I'm just going to refer to as unknown percent form. All more powerful than the next, so I will scale each individually. In base, Mob is bare minimum city block level. This is because he's able to contend with Megan Shi and a ton of his goons backing him up, who were stated to be harder to deal with than the 7th Division. One of the members was capable of destroying an entire underground complex within the 7th Division, so considering the sheer size of the complex, the power required to do so would be equal to almost 30 tons of TNT or city block level. However, Mob can scale to town level and small city level in terms of power as well for base. This is due to the fact that Mob is able to take a God Beam from God Dimple, which was a blast so big it would equal 93.3 kilotons of TNT or town level. With Mob's durability should scaling to his attack potency, so he should be able to output this amount of power. The small city level scaling comes from Mob and his group of friends taking or creating a large amount of energy that's so big it eclipses a mountain with a single manga scan, with the power required to do so being equal to 5.38 megatons of TNT. However, this is the group behind it together, so you could argue this doesn't scale to Mob himself. However, Mob is leagues stronger than anyone else within that group, so he is likely the one pulling most of the weight, so there is an argument for it. Backpedaling to God Dimple for a second, there is an argument for God Dimple being as strong as 100% Mob from the Toriichiro fight, as Mob got stronger since then, and you could simply imply that base Mob is now as strong as 100% Mob from that fight. So let me know if you want to see a God Dimple video explaining that, because it is kind of a not long but semi-long explanation, and I wouldn't blame you for not buying this considering how extreme it sounds. Base Mob also has a feat of amplifying sound to span over a greater distance. This should require watt amount of equal to 9 to the power of 13 or equal to 22 kilotons of TNT, with the higher end calculus putting it at 17.44 megatons of TNT, which would be city level. Mob did go all out doing this, and had to go beyond his limits, so you could argue this is a feat for 100% Mob rather than base Mob, not to mention that this spans out across the entire solar system. Using the same way we calculated the last feat, Mob would be able to output the power equal to 1.041 petatons of TNT, or enough to destroy continents, so you could argue that 100% Mob is continental based off this. There's one more big feat for base Mob that I have to go over before we go into 100% Mob, and that's on the volume cover, where Mob shows being able to create an earthquake, which should allow him to output the power equal to 15.7 megatons of TNT to 499 megatons of TNT or mountain level. This is pretty easy to debunk, however, as impressive as the feat is, we have almost no context as to how it happened. This could have been Mob at 100% and it just depowered, not to mention this doesn't even happen within the series and was just official art. Anyways, 100% Mob is bare minimum island level in terms of power. This is due to the scaling to, if not higher than God Dimple's final attack, which would be so great it would equal 31.75 gigatons of TNT or island level. 100% Mob in the Toriichiro fight was also able to create a large storm spanning over several cities, requiring the power equal to 38.5 gigatons of TNT. As for a known percent Mob, he is unquantifiably stronger than 100% Mob. You could argue it's a greater multiplier than 1000% Reagan, which would be 10 times Mob's power, so if you take the value he had for 100% Mob multiplied by 10, then unknown percent Mob would grow to equal to 10.41 petatons of TNT, or enough to destroy multiple continents, although this is a little bit headcanon-y, as I said. Unknown percent Mob also has a feat of destroying Mogami's realm. This realm is so big that it eclipses entire cities at the very least. However, due to the obscurity of how it was destroyed and how big the realm is, we can't put an exact number on it, as there are many different methods and ways of calculating it. with the lowest possible calc placing it at 89.9 gigatons of TNT, and the highest possible calc putting this at 8.35 exatons of TNT, which ranges between islands to multiple continent levels of power. However, if I've shown you that Mob can already get to continental to multi-continental levels of power, so it doesn't matter too much. There's also one more way of scaling Mob even higher, and that's due to the old one statement that if Mob were to get serious, he wouldn't know who would win between him and a fight with him and Tatsumaki, implying that they are on par with each other. This statement does have a little validity due to the fact that the person stating this is literally the author of both series where Mob and Tatsumaki come from. This would be very big because Tatsumaki has multi-continental to possibly small planet level scaling, and unknown percent form Mob could possibly scale higher than that. But this form of scaling is very questionable for many reasons. Firstly, he just said he didn't know what would happen, not explicitly that they were equals. Not to mention, this statement was made many years ago before Mob and Tatsumaki performed their own very feats, so it's likely this is outdated, especially when it's mostly referring to their respective webcomics which have different feats within them. While he hasn't exactly revoked this statement, he doesn't exactly need to for it to not make sense anymore. For example, in the same interview, he stated that Garo and Boros are supposed to be on par with each other. This is supposed to be the same Boros who died after one serious punch from Saitama, and Garo who could go toe-to-toe with a serious Saitama, so you could argue that it just got outdated and is not likely therefore. Speed-wise, and there is some impressive stuff to go over. Firstly, he should be leagues faster than beginning of the series Teruki. Hell, he was even stronger than him at the time in base to begin with, who was capable of blitzing a large group of people so fast he would have been moving at 506 miles per hour. However, this is nothing compared to other feats such as Shimazaki, who was capable of dodging numerous bullets easily, with a calc like this ranging between 5,000 to 100 miles per hour to over 60,000 miles per hour, with base Mob scaling to this due to rivaling Teruki, who could fight Shimazaki. Not to mention that Mob could scare the ever-living shit out of Shimazaki just by walking towards him. As for 100% Mob, he could react and perceive lightning in slower motion, requiring him to at least be able to perceive things at 2.6 million miles per hour, with unknown percent form being unknowably faster than that. There are some other feats from unknown percent Mob, such as creating shockwaves across a city, which would be moving at around 73,000 miles per hour to a high end of 147,000 miles per hour, with the even higher amount of end there being at 294,000 miles per hour. However, this is all irrelevant given the 100% Mob feat that I showed earlier. Now, this is where I would normally scale Mob. However, there are arguments that Mob is much faster than this, even in base. This is due to a couple arguments. The first one being that he should scale to, if not slightly higher than Sho, who can manipulate light. This is kind of easy to dismiss because this is more of an illusionary technique rather than literally like moving at light speed. However, the second argument is Teruki, who literally stated he was stated to move at the speed of light in order to reach Mob. This could be dismissed as a way of him just saying he was moving very, very fast. However, the way he acts about it afterwards is as if it's not even a joke at all, acting as if he really did move that fast, which would be impressive. With this, you can scale this to Mob, even at base, which means that with the 100% form and his unknown percent form, he would be way faster than light. This is further backed up by the fact that the shock waves that he used to emit across the solar system have to have been moving many times faster than light in order to do so, just to an unquantifiable degree. However, again, he did this feat alongside other people despite the fact that he was the one pulling all the effort. Shigeo Kageyama is one of the most powerful espers in the entire show. Espers are people with a large amount of psychic energy, which grants them specific abilities. The amount of strength that a psychic has is based off of their mental state of the user, and the reason why Mob is so powerful is because he buries all of his emotions and tries to hide them, basically causing them to explode out, which is the same as what happened to Zerizawa to a lesser extent. As an esper, Mob has the abilities of telekinesis, Danmaku, psychic energy manipulation, empowerment and rage power, aura, force field creation, levitation and flight, explosion creation, limited paralysis inducement and extrasensory perception, as you can see evil spirits and psychic auras which normal people just can't see. You can even remove curses effortlessly, which grants them non-physical interaction and purification and regeneration nullification to pretty high levels, due to the fact that spirits can regenerate from almost anything, almost, being the operative word. Yet Mob is still able to kill them. He also has many resistances, such as to spiritual manipulation, mind and empathic manipulation, soul manipulation, and a limited resistance to memory manipulation, being able to regain his lost memories after some help. Mob also has some other abilities, such as power mimicry, being able to manipulate plants after seeing someone else do it, and astral projection, meaning that he could take his soul out of his body to just straight up possess someone if he wanted. Meaning that with his astral body, Shigeo actually performs many other feats as well. He performs feats such as incorporeality, has insane regeneration, invisibility, and possession. 100% Mob can also absorb psychic energy attacks and reflect them back onto people, along with being able to share his emotions and memories with people. He also has healing, being able to heal broken limbs, and can also generate smoke to hide his presence if needed. Unknown % Mob has massively greater absorption abilities, being able to absorb literally everything, not just psychic energy, meaning that he would get constantly stronger over time, along with technology manipulation, electricity manipulation, air manipulation, vibration manipulation, and resistance to sleep inducement and curse manipulation. Despite being very broken, Mob does lack skills in other important areas of combat prowess. First, while he isn't stupid, he's not like he's a fighting genius or really has any experience in martial arts at all, although he is pretty knowledgeable in psychic powers. Hell, his stamina at average is is average at best. I don't know how I messed up that word. However, his powers don't ever seem to affect his stamina, so he can fight for a while despite this. This isn't even to mention the fact that he is naturally bloodlusted in his unknown % state, meaning he can't really plan in a fight at all in that state. But despite that, Mob is extremely OP. So how powerful is Shigeo Kageyama? Well, in base, he should bare minimum be able to destroy city blocks to likely towns to small cities. He also has massively hypersonic to light speed scaling in base as well. 100% Mob easily reaches island level to continental levels of power, with unknown % form Mob being unquantifiably stronger than 100% Mob, but likely multi-continental. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe. I have thought of doing a rerun of some of my older videos, like Aang vs Mob or Toriichiro vs All For One at some point, but maybe it'd be more interesting to make a Deku vs Mob video, as it actually would be quite debatable, and if you want to know how strong Deku is, I've got exactly the same style of video as this video on Deku, so it'll be in the top right and in the end screen. I intend to make more videos in this style as well in the near future, so stay tuned, and I'll see you all next time.